Okay, so here's something wild. Did you know the Knicks just ended a 53-year championship drought with one of the most dominant playoff runs in NBA history?
That's incredible, and it's just one of the many stories we're diving into today.
Welcome to DeActa Daily Digest. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Juniper. Here are today's top stories.
Let's kick things off with ESPN Deportes. Their programming lineup has been packed lately, from live football picante broadcasts to re-airs of NCAA games and shows like the Pat McAfee Show. But what really stood out to me were the clips they've been sharing. Did you catch the one about the Hurricanes winning the Stanley Cup?
Oh, I did. The Hurricanes absolutely dominated Game 6 to secure their second title. And Jordansdale lifting the Stanley Cup? That's the kind of moment that sticks with fans forever. But what's fascinating is how these clips capture such a wide range of emotions. Like one moment you're celebrating a championship, and the next you're watching Isabel Harrison get ejected after a flagrant foul on Angel Reese.
Exactly. It's like a snapshot of everything happening in sports right now. And then there are the quirky moments like the lone Curaçao supporter in Berlin celebrating a goal against Germany. It's such a small thing, but it says so much about how sports connect people across the globe.
That's so true. And speaking of connections, let's talk about the WNBA. The player prop picks for June 15th were really interesting. Jackie Young over 6.5 assists at plus 1 to 10. That feels like a solid bet, especially with how she's been performing lately.
Absolutely. She's been on fire, hitting double-digit assists in her last two games. And with the Aces offense running at such a high level, it's hard to see her not hitting that mark. Plus, they're up against a Dallas Wings defense that's been struggling to contain playmakers.
And then there's Natasha Howard. Over 16.5 points at 1 on 12 seems like a no-brainer. She's been consistently scoring in the 20s, and Portland's defense has been a weak spot, especially in the paint. It's the perfect setup for her to have another big game.
And let's not forget Kelsey Plum. Over 6.5 assists at plus 1 and 22, that's a steal. Golden State's defense has been allowing a lot of ball movement, and Plum has been racking up assists in recent games. It's one of those lines that feels almost too good to be true.
What I love about these picks is how they are backed by data. It's not just about gut feelings, it's about analyzing pace, offensive ratings, and defensive vulnerabilities. It really makes you appreciate the strategy behind sports betting. But now, let's pivot to the NBA. The Knicks' championship win was the headline, but there's so much more to unpack from the season recap.
Oh, where do we even start? The Knicks' postseason run was nothing short of historic. They won 15 out of 16 playoff games after trailing 2-1 to Atlanta in the first round. Jalen Brunson was incredible, especially in the finals. That 45-point closeout game? Legendary. And let's not forget the comebacks. They erased double-digit deficits in every finals game, including a 29-point hole in Game 4.
It's the kind of run that cements a team's legacy. And while the Knicks were celebrating, the Spurs were making waves too. Victor Wembanyama led them back to the finals after years of mediocrity. They dominated several series, but just couldn't close out tight games against the Knicks. Still, their future looks incredibly bright.
The Spurs are definitely a team to watch, and then there's Oklahoma City. They were one of the best teams all season, but couldn't get past the Spurs in the Western Conference Finals. Injuries to Jalen Williams and underwhelming performances from Chet Holmgren really hurt them, but with multiple first-round picks, they have the assets to bounce back.
Cleveland's story was another roller coaster. They made it to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time without LeBron James since 1992, but they were swept by the Knicks. The series exposed some glaring issues like turnovers and late-game management. It raises questions about the long-term cohesion of their core, especially with Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley.
And Detroit, they had a gritty playoff run, rallying from a 3-1 deficit in the first round, only to lose in 7 games to Cleveland. Jalen Duren's playoff struggles and Tobias Harris's impending free agency are going to be key off-season storylines for them. It's a reminder that even teams in a good spot have their challenges.
The Lakers are another example. They need to address injuries and depth issues, especially with LeBron's contract situation hanging over them. And Minnesota, they've got to sort out their point guard situation. It's like every team has its own puzzle to solve.
The bubble teams are where it gets really interesting. Boston, Denver, Houston, Toronto, Atlanta. They're all on the cusp, but need that extra push. The Celtics, for instance, might have to make some tough decisions about Jaylen Brown, and Denver's defensive weaknesses were glaring in the playoffs.
And then you have teams like the Magic and Trailblazers who showed promise but couldn't quite get over the hump. Orlando's young roster needs direction, and Portland has to figure out how to balance Damian Lillard's return with their crowded rotation.
It's a lot to think about. And then there are the teams that missed the playoffs entirely. The Hornets, Warriors, Heat, Clippers. They're all in this weird limbo where they're not terrible but not good enough to contend. The Warriors in particular have some big decisions to make with their aging core.
And don't even get me started on the basement teams. The Pacers, Jazz, Mavericks, Wizards, they're all in rebuild mode. But at least they have some young talent and draft picks to work with. The Bucks, though, are in a tough spot. Giannis's future is so uncertain, and that's going to dictate everything.
The Pelicans and Grizzlies are in similar boats. They've got talent, but can't seem to put it all together. And the Bulls, Kings, and Nets, those are just tough situations. It's going to take a lot of work to turn those franchises around.
It's fascinating to see how the offseason is shaping up. Champions are celebrating in New York, but everyone else is scrambling to improve. It's like a giant chessboard, and every move matters.
Absolutely. Whether it's player prop bets, re-air schedules, or off-season moves, sports never stop evolving. And that's what makes it so exciting.